GSG Impact. We build the nation's pride. It's discussion time. Let's discuss critical national and international issues that affect every aspect of human, social, and spiritual development, politics, governance, economy, and belief. Powered by GSG. GSG Impact. We build the nation's pride. GSG Impact. We build the nation's pride. It's discussion time. Let's discuss critical national and international issues that affect every aspect of human, social, and spiritual development, politics, governance, economy, and belief. Powered by GSG. GSG Impact. We build the nation's pride. GSG Impact. We build the nation's pride. It's discussion time. Let's discuss critical national and international issues that affect every aspect of human, social, and spiritual development, politics, governance, economy, and belief. Powered by GSG. GSG Impact. We build the nation's pride. GSG Impact. We build the nation's pride. It's discussion time. Let's discuss critical national and international issues that affect every aspect of human, social, and spiritual development, politics, governance, economy, and belief. Powered by GSG. GSG Impact. We build the nation's pride. GSG Impact. We build the nation's pride. It's discussion time. Let's discuss critical national and international issues that affect every aspect of human, social, and spiritual development, politics, governance, economy, and belief. Powered by GSG. GSG Impact. We build the nation's pride. GSG Impact. We build the nation's pride. It's discussion time. Let's discuss critical national and international issues that affect every aspect of human, social, and spiritual development, politics, governance, economy, and belief. Powered by GSG. GSG Impact. We build the nation's pride. GSG Impact. We build the nation's pride. It's discussion time. Let's discuss critical national and international issues that affect every aspect of human, social, and spiritual development, politics, governance, economy, and belief. Powered by GSG. GSG Impact. We build the nation's pride. GSG Impact. We build the nation's pride. It's discussion time. Let's discuss critical national and international issues that affect every aspect of human, social, and spiritual development, politics, governance, economy, and belief. Powered by GSG. GSG Impact. We build the nation's pride. GSG Impact. We build the nation's pride. It's discussion time. Let's discuss critical national and international issues that affect every aspect of human, social, and spiritual development, politics, governance, economy, and belief. Powered by GSG. GSG Impact. We build the nation's pride. GSG Impact. We build the nation.
Good evening. Thanks for joining me in this tonight's first edition of Let's Discuss It. Let's Discuss It is a social interactive program that addresses critical national and international issues affecting every aspect of human, social, and spiritual development. It addresses issues on politics, governance, economy, and belief. And nation building is a combined effort of all stakeholders, which includes believers and not limited to political office holders or public officers. We resolve to build the nation's pride by educating, by advocating, sensitizing, and mobilizing through social crusades to facilitate reforms, development, and national success. My name is Wale Agboola. I'm your host. I'm a pastor, an entrepreneur, and a social crusader who address critical social spiritual issues affecting every aspect of human, social, and spiritual development. Tonight with me in the studio, I have Mr. Bolaji Oluwatope Joshua. an entrepreneur, an educator, and a curator who believes in social equality and gender balance. Also a social crusader who advocates right leadership towards stewardship. Welcome, Mr. Bolaji. You're welcome tonight.
Welcome,
Also
sir.
with me, I have Mr. Oduwole Sheung, an agro consultant, an accomplished entrepreneur, and a political analyst who, through his wealth of knowledge, addresses critical socio-economic and social-political issues, both nationally and internationally. You're welcome, sir.
Good evening, viewers.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I welcome all our viewers all over the world. Your contributions are welcome, and your opinions will be made public on this platform. Just type your questions and your contribution on this platform as you follow us. We shall air it, and it shall be, if it is your questions, it shall be critically dealt with. Today, we're going to be discussing election and electioneering. Election and electioneering. Across the nations of the world, elections have been a model of electing, or perhaps, if I'm going to speak as an African, selecting, because there's a tactical way of selection in election in our own world. Leaders selecting or electing leaders into prospective roles for assignments. And also we have example of such in the Bible where they cast lots and in choosing leaders into the role of assignment. Mr. Oduwole, may I ask tonight, how well has this electioneering act succeeded in its purpose? How well has this electioneering act succeeded in its purpose?
Maybe in this regard, you are talking of the Nigerian context.
From
right?
the Nigerian context.
Yeah, I would say the election in Nigeria has been even before 1914 up to the general election. Tonight before the independence election, then we had the Civil War. Then from 1979 that brought in Shagari, there was also a coup d'etat. But from the nascent democracy of 1999 till date, I can only say we are fine. We've not yet gotten there.
As election, the way it's supposed to be in electing, like I said earlier, that there's a tactical way of selecting in election, that we believe everybody's going out to vote for their candidates. However, it's believed generally that some people already know the candidates that will win. Can we say election has actually succeeded, have fulfilled its purpose the way it's supposed to be, or it is tactical selection that we are calling election?
No, we cannot really say so. We can't be so accurate to have put it that way that all of the elections we have had in Nigeria up to now has been all through a selection process. No, election has been held. Fine, maybe perhaps when you talk about local government chairmanship election or that of councillorship, then I think that is where we can witness those infractions of selections, But when you talk of governorship election, House of Rep and the rest of it, up to the presidential election, it has all been fought for. People really compete. It is a strong, heated competition, and people voted, and you cannot really say that has been a selection process or only a few fractions. And just as I said earlier, the infraction is just on the local government chairmanship election and the ward and councillorship election. To an extent, I can say to those ones is more or less like a selection.
All right, Mr. Bolaji, can you say that, because let's bring it home now to our country. Can you say in Nigeria, election has actually fulfilled the purpose of election?
Well, partially from what Mr. Oba said, election in Nigeria has fulfilled its purpose because in the last 20 years, we can say democracy has come to stay.
Yeah.
Because over time, we have outgrown those misdemeanors from the parts of the leaders. Now, to the part of the electorate. The problem of election today now is the electorate. Many will not even go and register for the electoral process.
I was about coming there. It should be possibly my next question. But what exactly? Why are people not coming out or participating? Especially for I'm a pastor, and over time you discover that there's this belief of Christians about election and politics and politicians. They are being tagged. What exactly is the problem that is actually?
Yes, our social belief and the way we are wired. That's just it. An average Nigerian, especially the elites, let me put it that way, the elite, the ones that are learned, believes that going to a polling unit where there are a lot of people who wanted to register for the process is demeaning them. So what do they need the voter's card for? If not for a time that the voter's card becomes a means of national identity, that people think I cannot do this if I do not get my voter's card. That was why so many elites, pastors, imams will go to the polling unit to go and get their voter's card. Without that, they don't think there is any need for registering for the process. And when you don't register for the process, then the infractions we have in the electoral process will continue. But the moment you put belief, your religion aside, and say this is your this is your rights, this is your franchise, and you need to go and exhibit your franchise by being the moment you did not register for an election, you have deprived yourself your citizenship. That's just the truth.
I think, okay, the problem of election begins from registering.
Of course, yes.
And he mentioned about the elites, pastors and people that don't want to actually stay where the registration. Is there any way, or what suggestion can you give in improving the system of registration? Because I want to think that maybe the process of registration was actually tiring or discouraging sometimes.
Actually, the first issue or issues Nigerian are having concerning registration of voters card is purely apathy. People have strong apathy towards election, and the first fundamental problem is because the few times, if you notice, from 1999, people had believed in electoral reforms that politicians would come during electioneering time to campaign, saying they would do this, they would do that. And after 4 years, after 8 years, nothing is being done. Now another election is coming. People will be told to go and register. Nigeria Orientation Agency will begin its campaign, sensitizing people to go and, so all of sorts. But at the end of the day, the people see that is all bunkers. They don't get what they want. For every 100% word of the politician, it doesn't amount to more than 30%. And so therefore, that has engrossed their heart towards that party. And they felt, what's my concern? I'm not going to go. It doesn't change anything. When you vote, you take nothing's going to change. So they don't want to get the voter's card. And that is the major problem. I used to tell people, I say, if a lot of Nigerians believe that our vote do not count. I believe our vote do count.
Why do you believe that?
I believe because there are some scenarios that have shown that. We have seen some state be governed by a set of particular party, and when the people of that city or state believe they are tired of this political party, at times we've seen some changes, whereby let me use a state like Kano. PDP had ruled Kano, ANPP has ruled Kano. You come to the west outside Lagos State, or you has been ruled by PDP, it has been ruled by AD, it has been ruled by. So if it doesn't count, then there won't be processes, there won't be those changes. But it's just that to a larger extent, there are some particular people that perhaps their own ways. Like Lagos State, for example, has been in control under formerly from AD, metamorphosed to ACN to APC. You know, people believe that it's one political party that has been, so they feel unconcerned. And I tell them, if you look inward, even the general election of 2015, a lot of people were tired of PDP 16-year rule, and people came up together, they fought it, and they used their voters card to do what? PDP was changed. You can also do that even at the next coming election. It's all about you believing. I know the process is not that perfect. Our processes, our INEC reforms, and all is not that, it hasn't gotten there. But we cannot disenfranchise ourselves by ourselves. When you don't have a voter's card, I tell you, you have disenfranchised yourself.
I'm sorry to cut you. I want to bring a scenario and still on the issues of elites and people not trying to, because let me give an example of what happened in Edo and Kogi. Now, Pastor Isaiah contested under the platform of
APC?
no, PDP.
Okay, Zeyamu,
Against Obaseki in APC.
APC.
Now, the table has turned.
Yeah.
Now, Adeyemi in Kogi against Dino Melaye.
Yes.
Now, don't you think these inadequacies makes people to believe that there's not, it's just like game. Election is like game in Nigeria.
Of a truth, I see it as a melodrama because our electorate are not very sound. They choose their enemy when they just perceive as the enemy. They don't check. They like bad news. Once you just paint, you know, imagine people before all of those places you mentioned.
Yeah.
You know, Pastor Ezeyamu contests against Obaseki, and the PDP Ezeyamu is their everything. Is their love, is their everything. They love him. Is their choice. In APC, Obaseki is everything, second to none. You know.
Yeah.
But there's a little bit fracas inside within the party, and now everybody swap. It's just swapping, and you see these people. They just decide. Just before now, you are loving Ezeyam while he was in another party. Likewise, those that are loving let's say Adeyemi in Kogi, he rep from Ijumu East or something like that. Kogi East, you know. Then the person changed immediately. It has turned to hatred. So the question is, these people, do you really have anything against them, or is it the party? Because to me, if you have said, okay, Ezeyamu was in PDP, they slammed with 700 million naira lawsuit, it went back to APC. Now the PDP are charging for that money. But when he was in APC, you said no, it didn't. That money was frivolous. It's not. It has nothing to answer concerning. You are supporting. The moment it changed, even let us check the current minister of NDDC, Mr. Wale Agboola. He was in PDP. Niger Delta. He was in PDP. The moment he changed to APC, the people dislike him. They hated. But when all of the allegation about his stealing whatever or whatever they charge him for, you know, I'm not saying he stole anything, but whatever they charge him for, as at then, those people in PDP, it was their love. You can say our mentality.
But the moment
he changed to that party, they dislike. Now they now agree that is a rogue. So that is our problem. We are not so sound. We have so many people that went to school, but they never have what I call a liberated mind. Their mind is still chained. Their mind are not liberated.
Okay, Mr. Sheung, in case you are just joining us, this is Let's Discuss It. We address critical national and international issues that affect every aspect of human social and spiritual development. We are discussing on election and electioneering today and what is actually happening, for example, in Nigeria as a case study. And the point on ground now, which I will ask, I will go to Mr. Bolaji now, is I want to ask the question again. Are you sure with all this drama that we are seeing, that is not what is scaring people away from either joining political parties or participating in election? You know, as a Christian, some Christians believe in loyalty, believe in love, but a system that the moment somebody crosses from your party to another party is perceived as enemy, regardless of relationship that existed between you. Are you sure this is not what's actually scaring people away from participating in politics?
As a matter of fact, it's a cogent factor that distracts people from the electoral process. These politicians have a way of creating distractions. And all this cross-carpeting, moving from pillar to pole, is part of the distraction. But as a citizen, you as a citizen, my concern, my advocate is about the youth, the women, and the entire the entire votable populace that I know that can participate in election, that can be voted for, and that can vote. My concern about them is it does not matter what the process takes. That's what the Americans do.
They should disregard
the distractions. Go and collect your franchise. That matters. Now, you can discover that many figures are being uttered during elections. Why? Because many PVCs are with them that you did not collect. So the moment you don't collect it, they might not even use it. Yes, and there is no forensic examination in our system. It's not like the American system where there is forensic examination. All their votes are subjected to forensic examination. But ours, there is no forensic examination. So you are not expecting anything from foul play. The moment these figures appear that, okay, so number of people, 300,000 people registered voters. And eventually, maybe even at the place of accreditation, where they are accrediting, what is written on paper will be different from what will be declared to you. Because you never appeared there. But the moment you appear there, if you are a lover of it does not matter party. Where they create distraction is majorly the party. But I as a person, I don't fancy party in Nigeria because the party does not mean anything to me.
Now, you don't fancy party in Nigeria. How do you vote?
Yes, the truth is this. I just look at the personality that convinced me.
The personality that convinced.
Yes, like okay. the last presidential debates, the personality of this man from DPA, that's Magos something, convinced Nigerians. And I believe he got that 30,000 votes because of people like me.
Let me go back to the first question I asked, that as election actually fulfill its purpose. Now, if just like what you said, somebody has a convincing personality, he has good plans and manifestos, and people vote, and is in a party that is not popular, an unpopular party. Let me put it that way. Now, for example, we have, is it close to 100 or more than 100 political parties in Nigeria? Yes. But we have two popular parties. And that means if you have a good personality that convince people, and you have what the people need, but if you are not in a political party that is popular, that means you are good as not contesting the election. Of course. So, in that context, as election actually, is it fulfilling its purpose?
The truth is, even in the advanced world, Americans have more than two parties, and yet the Republican and the Democrat are the most popular. It does not matter the number of parties. I am still going to be saying that.
So, how do the people that have the convincing, when will they have opportunity of leadership?
That's where Nigerians have to. That's where the electorate, the real electorate, have to start coming out. By the time the real electorate starts coming out, that this is the person we want, parties will not matter to them. It will be the personality. Parties will not matter. Like I remember in Ondo State in 2003 election, Labour Party was an unknown party, but Mimiko's personality was a convincing factor for everybody.
So vote the party in.
Yes. So PDP and AD were still very popular in the state as at then, but he came with his Labour Party, and he won elections with it. Though the election was later won in the courts, just because people stood by their vote. People came out en masse to vote that Labour Party, that personality. So, and they stood by it. That was why he could win it back in the court of law. If not for that, then he wouldn't be able to do that. because the party in power, incumbency, is functional.
It's powerful.
It's very powerful.
Very powerful.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bolaji. Now, Mr. Shehu, I want to, from that court thing that he mentioned, discover that if somebody win election, it has to be contested in court. The victory will have to go to court now, and we believe that election is to elect people. Why do people have to go to court?
So, the court is a place where you seek redress when you contest for election and you are not satisfied with the outcome of such election.
Yeah.
So instead of you sending thugs to destroy properties, begin to cause riots in the state, the best thing you should do is to go to court and seek redress. And any of the flaws or errors you might have noticed, you can bring it in the front of the panels or whosoever is there, and they will sort it out. Then if you have satisfied their proof, then they could.
I think in our country,
Yeah.
it has become a norm.
A norm is a norm. Why?
But President Goodluck Jonathan, the former president, did not do that.
Yes.
What was it?
It's you cannot talk about 2015 election without talking about that compassionate how should I put it, that very good sportsmanship that President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan showcased to the world.
Former president.
Former President Goodluck Jonathan. That was his own desire. It's not as if that election also do not have infractions.
Yeah.
He just felt, before that election, there have been there are tensions in the land. And he said he wouldn't want anyone to die because of him.
Yeah.
He is a very good man. So many people would have done that. They would have gone. And if it were another person, being an incumbent president, he would have said he's not okay with the outcome. You want to go to court and there will be riot. So many people will die. So many people will lose their life. So therefore, what we have done, he congratulates the President Muhammadu Buhari even before the last state was announced. After he has seen that he might not win the election, we must always credit him for that great sportsmanship that he showcased.
All right, we'll still come back to the issues of the courts and election in Nigeria. But before we go back to that, let's go on a break now.
GSG Impact, we build the nation's pride. It's discussion time. Let's discuss critical national and international issues that affect every aspect of human, social, and spiritual development, politics, governance, economy, and belief. Powered by GSG. GSG Impact, we build the nation's pride. GSG Impact, we build the nation's pride. It's discussion time. Let's discuss critical national and international issues that affect every aspect of human, social, and spiritual development, politics, governance, economy, and belief. Powered by GSG. GSG Impact, we build the nation's pride. GSG Impact, we build the nation's pride. It's discussion time. Let's discuss critical national and international issues that affect every aspect of human, social, and spiritual development, politics, governance, economy, and belief. Powered by GSG. GSG Impact, we build the nation's pride.
Welcome back. In case you are just joining us, this is Let's Discuss It. It's a social interactive program that addresses critical national and international issues affecting every aspect of human, social, and spiritual development. We're discussing today election and electioneering. Before we went on break, actually talking about election and the court. Mr. Bolaji believes, some people believe that when election matter goes to court, goes to tribunal, and possibly it was turned in the favor of the other person. Many people believe that they voted the winner in. But due to maybe, okay, for example, the example of Bielsa, because we need to actually, I want us to really address that issue of Bielsa. It was believed that they voted the then governor that won in, but tactically the Supreme Court, it was changed, not because it didn't have it didn't win the election, didn't qualify, but because it was disqualified due to some infraction. So how do we say that election actually fulfilled its purpose in that regard?
Thank you, sir. Every part of election, pre-electoral process, the electoral process and post-electoral process, all these are part of elections. Your registration, your certificates, what you declared for that you have means your integrity. That's a personal, that's what represents you before the party.
Okay.
That's what represents you before the populace. So the moment there are infractions in your certificates, that's your pre-electoral, that's pre-election process. So it does matter in the court of law. So all these are what people should take care of.
Now, how do the electorate? That it matters in the court of law, but not during election. So how do we? Okay, it's not the fault of the electorate that it didn't present the.
Maybe I should.
Okay.
I think on that issue of the lion of Bielsa election, that issue is their own party negligence.
Party negligence.
So it's not the fault of the electorate in that aspect. As he said, election is not on the day of election itself, and after you've been declared winner, it's a process from A to B to C to D, and from those false points, if you make any mistakes, it could affect you after the post-election. So they did not do their work. They did not study their work very well, and that was the result. I felt for him.
I want us to see it this way. Now, let's assume, for example, let me go to the 1993 election of the late Chief
MKO
Abiola. The election was not actually. It was believed that he actually won the election and people voted for him. Let's assume that the former president,
head of state,
the former head of state, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, did not annul that election. It's possible that is it
Uthman Tofa
will not go to court. Believe that he has the popularity and he has the majority. Now, in that situation where people actually came out and voted and they say, okay, this is our choice, and because of party error, party negligence, the choice of the people was actually overruled. How do we address that?
Of a truth, there's what we call precedence. If that has happened before, precedent will set it, and it will continue like that. This Bielsa case is a kind of a precedence, and if anything happens like that, the lawyers will refer back that so year something like this happened, we disqualify the winner of a said election, and the second runner-up came. So if you are going back to 1993, and let's assume Chief MK Abiola won the election with every INEC one-third, all of those things they are using to disqualify people, and if he has met all of those things and he made mistakes in few things that Mr. Belgia has said earlier, that election is a process, I tell you, the upturn and Uthman Tofa will be declared president.
Then it will not be that.
Of course, people will be angry. You recall that if we can still be having this type of shallow-minded electorate, I'm sorry to use that word, but it's so. People are not really educated. People are not really sound. People go to school, they don't even know they are right. So people will think maybe, okay, like that time, the head of state was from the north. They will assume he tried to give his brother. They will put sentiment there.
Exactly.
And that will cause riots, probably in the west.
Will cause problems.
It will cause problem. But fine, it's possible it will happen. But then, and I know the people of the western region, they they will do all of those shouting, but they will reason also and say, this is a mistake. What they will have done is to the forthcoming election, there will be a redress and they will not make that mistake again. But thank God that never happened. Then the election was annulled and it was a painful one.
Well, I have another question here. I will direct it to Mr. Bolaji first, then I will come back to you. And this has to do with the election, the belief, or the faith of individuals. Or, okay, because I'm a pastor now, let me bring it to church, a church thing. Now, the church, if the pastor should begin to talk about election in the church, it was believed sometimes ago that preaching prosperity is not part of the gospel. Saying, preaching some things that are not spiritual, that are not part of the Holy Spirit, the kingdom of God, the rapture is not part of the gospel. Now, because as I'm saying it now, if we actually want to participate in election, there has to be sensitization and orientation in all sides, even in our churches. Don't you think that they will begin to see pastors preaching election in the church and the pastor has become a political pastor or something?
Yes, sir. The truth is this. Perspective of people about things do not change. But the truth is, education is everywhere. Education is everywhere. Education is not always in the four walls of the school. In the market, you are being educated on what to buy and how to buy. Likewise, on the streets, you are being taught one or two things. In fact, street of Lagos is a city of education.
It's a school.
It's a school on its own. You cannot walk the streets of Lagos without learning how to walk. If not, it's either you misplace your phone, you misplace your shoe, or you yourself is missing.
Or they teach you how to walk.
Yes. So I do not. Gone are the days when our Orthodox churches do not want to say so many things on the pulpit. But these days, it is important for the leaders of the church to know that it is their right, because either you like it or not, governance will affect the church.
It's affecting the church now, because churches in Lagos, Ogun State.
Now, when you don't educate your church members on what to do, this is the result. We'll be having this. But the moment you educate them that the coming election, it is important for you to go and vote. In fact, it is important for you, if you have the material, if you have the wherewithal, if you have the integrity, to go and be voted for. Go and contest the election. Be part of the power changers.
Should our pastors talk about it on their altar?
Even pastors should get involved, not just talking about it.
Pastors should
get involved in leadership. Wow. So the moment they can lead in their church, they should be able to lead in the community. They should be able to lead in the state. They should be able to lead in Nigeria. So they should get involved. Imams should get involved.
Everybody should
get involved. It's a matter of everybody. This is because you are a citizen before you're a pastor. Oh. God knows why he bettered you in that nation.
Of course. So fulfilling the national assignment, it can be tantamount to fulfilling the purpose of God on earth.
Yes.
You can say those that are also in politics, are in leadership role, they are also called into a ministry.
Yes.
They are carrying fulfilling assignment.
Yes.
So everybody should go out and be a part of it.
Yes.
We should.
So let's take a case study of David in the Bible. At the time Saul came to anoint him in his house, what if he said he's not available? What if he said he doesn't want it? The moment he doesn't want it, he would not want to even go to war front, to the extent that he was the one who eliminated Goliath.
I want to.
And he was not even a soldier at the time he went to eliminate Goliath.
I want to ask a question in that David and Saul issue and Samuel. And I want to throw the question to you. I don't know how you are going to answer the question. I want to see. I hope there's no politics. God did not actually play a politics in that area. If we are going to go by the definition of politics in our nation, God told Samuel not to mourn Saul again. He should go and anoint David. And Samuel was like, sir, if Saul knows that I've come to anoint a king, of course there's a sitting king, how will I go and anoint another? And God said, no, you know what you're going to do? when you see Saul, tell him you have come for sacrifice. Now, is that not what they call politics in our present day?
Thank God you mentioned that. I think if you check the book of Ecclesiastes, you are reading, if you are conversant of book, you see that even in the world there is injustice. Things like this are, and again, towards God, you cannot question him. He's unquestionable.
Yeah.
There are some things I read in the Bible or in some live aspect, and if I want to say some of these things, I now say he is God. He is God.
You just
I allow
conclude.
it. I allow it. God told Jacob, right? He has the brother Esau, and the mother allowed the younger brother to get the blessing before the elder brother. Are you getting me? There was even some persons in the Bible, he was blind. They asked Jesus question, is it that the parents were sinners that made him to go blind? He said, no, I made him so. He's God. There are some things I don't like to question any aspect of God. I can allow you to call me stupid for that. I don't care. Are you getting me? Because he is God. So any politics that you felt that God played in that aspect, he knows why.
No, I don't want us to talk about that. Maybe God played politics, but what happened that time? It happens a lot.
It does.
And that's what Christians say, that politics, that is politics.
They
want
will
to
say so.
dissociate themselves from.
They will say so because they believe that politics is dirty. From the school of thought I come from, I don't believe that politics is dirty. The kingdom of God suffer value, right?
Yeah.
And what happened?
The violence take it by force.
If you want political power, you have to be serious. It's not a child's play. You don't sit somewhere in your house and you are planning to be a governor or a senator and you don't want to join a political party.
Or you are complaining that what they are doing
and you have the attributes, you have the bench, all of those things, the action, they are inside of you, and you remain docile. So why are you complaining? You must be a warrior to get up some of those things. Well, when I mean warrior, I don't mean you have to be killing people or be planning. No. There are ways. Okay, look at Showore. He's not in one of these major parties, APC, PDP, is in AAC, right? But he has made himself known. Tomorrow he might find himself in APC, PDC. Politics is like football. Are you getting me? As a player today, transfer is allowed. And I don't see why people get. These guys are always fine. Hey, PDP, hey, if you change the weight, APC, if you change the weight. I say, you guys are not smart. Elections are won by numbers. You go to a place that will fulfill your desire. That is how it's been done. If you cannot find yourself in APC or in PDP, if you find yourself in COA or AC, you have to strive to make an impact. And that's what those guys are doing. But the moment they change to APC now, they will dislike him, they will run away. If you go to PDP, I said, boss, you are forgotten. These are the major party. If he's not there, cannot get it. It's not about, you don't have to hate anybody. And even in football, it happens. You see a player will leave Real Madrid or so. I cannot leave Real Madrid. This one will say cannot leave so club for one club. And once you go, the players or the supporter will dislike the process. Even in football, it happens. It's a human nature. It's a human. But those that understand sports, those that understand politics, don't get angry. Are you getting? Somebody was supporting Buhari. He's an Edo guy, Obinya. He used to put Buhari. The moment Obaseki, PDP, he denounced the Buhari. You see, he's not a strong politician. But I don't get angry with that kind of thing. Some people begin to insult him. He said, Obaseki, I have left. Is he my follower now? I've joined him. I don't have a problem with such people because I understand that what we are doing is politics. This is politics. This is being played. You can change, you can go. So you don't need to, you do by force, or that's why it's not a do or die affair. It's not a do or die affair. It's just a platform that can give you your attainment. You felt that PDP can give you that attainment, you find a way there. If you get it, good for you. If you don't get it, good for you. You find this APC that can make you actualize your dream, good for you. Formerly, Muhammadu Buhari have been doing his own thing himself. The moment they formed the coalition between APP, APC, CPC, they got something. Are you getting me? But let's say he said no, they are not going to. I cannot form with Bola Tinubu or this. Is he going to get there? He wouldn't get there.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Shehu. Before I come back to you, you want to say something about that? In case you are just joining us, you are watching Let's Discuss It, and this is where we address critical national and international issues affecting every aspect of human, social, and spiritual development. Today, we are discussing election and electioneering. And from discussion so far, I've discovered that major challenges and problems many of our people, the electorates, have about election. They don't have the good education. They don't know education. When I say education, it's not necessarily that the school. No, they don't know what politics is all about. They don't understand what election is all about, and they don't know. And what you don't understand, you don't understand how you play the game. I'm not a sports person, but if I'm correct, there was a time the coach of Chelsea went to Man U or something. Yes, there was a time he went to Man. You know, that is sports. So just the same way, that is politics. There's a way politics is being played, and it's like, and you have to understand
it's a sport itself.
It's sport itself. So let me come to Mr. Bolaji. What you want to say something about that?
Yes, sir. That's one thing I kept telling people. That's the major. I still come back to that my point where I said personality counts, not party. The party is a platform. You need the party to exhibit your idea in the society. Now, if pastors do not want to get involved, like I fancy Pastor Tunde Bakare so much because of his words every Sunday concerning leadership. Because he knows his onions. And he knows, maybe because he's a trained lawyer anyway.
Maybe he understood the
fact that, about. Yes, before you are a man of God, you are a citizen. That is the first thing. And the members of your church are citizens too. Now, let us assume that the current problem, the current challenge that is facing Nigeria now is facing a church. Will the shepherd of that church not take the right decision that will affect the members of the church?
If he was the governor.
He will take decisions that will affect members of the church. That is the more reason why I want leaders of churches now to start getting involved in serious political system. They should get serious with it. Because
perhaps they may sanitize it.
Yes, instead of complaining about it. Now, you said the church is being grounded because of this. If you don't want your faith eventually to be grounded, then take side now.
Not church alone now.
Not church alone. Your faith will be grounded soon. Because everything is being affected globally. So if you don't want to be affected personally and by your faith, take decisions that will change things in 2023. Another election is coming now. Get involved. Come out. In this local government, I want to be local government chairman. If that is your capacity. In this state, Lagos State, at least I am established. I have more than 100,000 churches in this state. Then I believe in these 100,000 churches, members alone will cast my vote and I will get the result. Then go ahead. Go tell your members, register. We need to go and change this state.
All right.
And that's the truth.
All right. Thank you very much. Mr. Bolaji said earlier that humorously in Lagos, on the streets, they teach you how to do things.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to do it, you may be missing yourself. Experience. That's a good one. We'll be back after this break. Thank you.
GSG Impact, we build the nation's pride. It's discussion time. Let's discuss critical national and international issues that affect every aspect of human, social, and spiritual development, politics, governance, economy, and belief. Powered by GSG. GSG Impact, we build the nation's pride. GSG Impact, we build the nation's pride. It's discussion time. Let's discuss critical national and international issues that affect every aspect of human, social, and spiritual development, politics, governance, economy, and belief. Powered by GSG. GSG Impact, we build the nation's pride. GSG Impact, we build the nation's pride. It's discussion time. Let's discuss critical national and international issues that affect every aspect of human, social, and spiritual development, politics, governance, economy, and belief, powered by
Welcome back. Welcome back to Let's Discuss It. It's a social interactive program that addresses critical issues. These are national and international issues that affect every aspect of human, social, and spiritual development. And today we have been discussing election and electioneering. You can tweet at me at Wale Agboola 24. You can follow me on Facebook, Wale Agboola, and also on YouTube, Wale Agboola 24. Subscribe to YouTube, Wale Agboola 24. Your questions, your contribution will be welcome. We'll make it live, and we'll, we are going to, if you have questions or have contribution, we are going to bring it up live. And before we went on break, I echoed what Mr. Bolaji said about Lagos. I want us to let's narrow it down to the church and election now. What exactly, in what way can the church educate or sensitize people about this election? How can the church make Christians or their members to be part of it? Mr. Shin.
Well, I'll say this and I'll say it with a strong point. First, every citizen must register and get his voter's card. It is your weapon. Being a born-again Christian, being a churchgoer, you need your voter's card. Because if you allow yourself to be disenfranchised, one vote can cost you your desire.
Can they take solace in the spirit?
Well, you can only take solace in the spirit, because I know that the secular world cannot give you that happiness. No, I know that. Our joy comes only from the Lord. I'm not talking as a Christian, I'm talking as a believer of faith.
Yeah.
Our happiness comes only from God. The secular government cannot give us that balanced system. We all know it. It cannot give us balance. But for the fact that we are living here, we cannot sit down look. Are you getting me? We cannot just continue looking and things are getting shattered. We must correct it. How do we correct it? People, church member, neighbors, everybody go to the local government where they are doing registration, register, collect your voter's card. Next election, make sure you vote. It's very important. You can't be saying, oh, the voter can't, or they will not. All of those things is just gibberish. It's not the best. We need to renew our people's mind. We need to encourage them. We shouldn't leave all of these jobs alone to NOA or to the political parties alone. We must tell them, you need to get your voter's card. We have over 180, 200 million people. By the time you see the general election, all the vote will not be more than 15 million or 20 or 30 million. And that's why we're having these issues. Imagine in 200 million, 150 million people comes out to vote. Do you think some of these shenanigans that are there will be there? No, they won't be there. They'll use all the talks, they forget it. They can't be there.
All right, thank you. He has actually stressed the point that get your voter's card. It should be part of the education. It should be part of the church curriculum now. If I'm right, every the churches, pastors, make sure you educate your people to get their voter's card. Mr. Bolaji, I want to ask now, because of the state of our nation and the way things go on, how will a Christian manage in between violence in election, in political parties, or how will he manage all these so-called misdemeanor or things that he feels that is against his faith? Because we are encouraging them to go into it now. So how should they manage that?
Thank you, sir. The issue is this. To everything in life, there is always a negative side of it. Newton taught law of motion. To every action, there is always a reaction. Now, it depends on what your perspective of it that brings to the table what you want to be done. It is inevitable for people, for there not to be rancor. There is no process that is 100%. Even the church is not 100%.
Yeah.
People fight their pastors. Not today. I think some years back, I watched a video of a church. I don't want to mention name. They were fighting because of tithes. So it happens everywhere. So it's just for the church to come out now, to come and take that rightful position, to let them know that even churches are human beings too. You are human. So the process with which you lead the members of your church, come and exhibit it in the society. Let us see, because integrity can be better preached on the altar.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bolaji. I'm so happy for today's episode and your contributions. It's wonderful. But viewers, I want you to listen to this, and especially pastors that are watching and Christian believers that are watching. Now, you owe your members or a fellow believer education, as in educating them, making them know the way they are supposed to conduct themselves when it comes to election and electioneering. And you need to understand that being a part of it is what makes you a citizen of this country. You cannot stay at the corner and be complaining. Even in the book of Mark, the Bible says, Jesus said, go into the world and make disciples of all men, preach the gospel. The word that is talking about is saying, go into all the sectors, go into politics, go into educational sector, go into the entertainment, go into sports, go into and make disciples of all men. So the church is not limited to the four walls. If you have received information from the church, you have to go outside and execute it. So this is the time for all of us to wake up and participate in politics. That is where you bring the will of God. The will of God will not come from heaven and just jump on people. It is the children of God that will bring to the will of God on high. Thank you very much, Mr. Balaji, for having Mr. Sheil. I'm glad having you. Thank you for your contribution. And to all our viewers that joined us from all, we appreciate you. Thank you for. I want to especially appreciate the president of Vital Global Church Worldwide, Prophet Dr. R.A. Cotton. Thank you very much for your support. I want to appreciate my producer, the production manager, editor, the camera operators, the transmission manager, the graphics and creative manager. I want to appreciate every one of you. Once again, you can tweet at me at Wale Agboola 24. You subscribe to our YouTube channel, Wale Agboola 24. Follow me on Facebook or at Wale Agboola. Till I come your way next week, I remain your host, Wale Agboola. Be responsible and take responsibility of yourself. Bye for now. Achieve success.
Are we good to go?